The secret lived in the space between Frank Miller's breaths. It had followed him home from the war, crossed oceans, and settled quietly into the rhythm of his life. Frank had learned early that some truths don't want to be spoken. He was 19 when he first carried it, crouched in mud that smelled of oil and rain, his rifle pressed into his shoulder as the world shook around him. The front line was chaos shouting, gunfire, the metallic echo of shells tearing through the air. Training manuals didn't prepare you for the way fear tasted, or how silence after an explosion could be louder than the blast itself. A young enemy soldier, no older than Frank himself, tangled in barbed wire. His weapon lay just out of reach. His eyes were wide, terrified, pleading not with words, but with the raw understanding shared between two boys who should never have been there. Frank raised his rifle. This was the moment drilled into him during training. This was survival. But something broke inside him. The boy's hands were shaking. Blood soaked his uniform. He wasn't charging. He wasn't firing. He was trapped. Frank hesitated. That hesitation saved a life and changed his forever. Footsteps echoed nearby. If Frank didn't act, someone else would. And it wouldn't end the same way. He made a choice that would haunt and define him. Frank fired into the dirt just close enough to sound real. Then he moved fast, slicing the wire with his knife and dragging the boy into cover. "Go," he whispered, a word he wasn't even sure the boy understood. But the boy understood enough. He ran. Moments later, the position was overrun and then retaken. The official reports would later say the engagement was successful. No mention of hesitation, no mention of mercy, and no mention of the life Frank had spared. After the war, Frank came home. He married his high school sweetheart, bought a house, and found steady work. He raised 2 children, paid his taxes, and mowed his lawn on Saturdays. Not because he felt ashamed, but because he didn't know how to explain that one moment of mercy had felt heavier than all the violence he'd witnessed. In a world that praised heroism in terms of body counts and medals, where did his secret fit? Years passed, his children grew up, his wife passed quietly. The house grew quieter, the days longer. Then one afternoon, everything changed. Frank was at the Veterans Hall when a letter arrived, forwarded from an international veterans organization. The envelope was thin, a handwriting unfamiliar. Inside was a message written in careful, broken English. It began simply, "You do not know me, but I have known you all my life." Frank's hands trembled as he read. "I never forgot your face," the letter ended. "I carried your secret too." Frank sat in silence long after he finished reading. Tears slipped down his cheeks, not from sorrow, but from release. For the first time in 50 years, the secret wasn't his alone. At the next veterans gathering, Frank stood up. His voice shook as he told the story not of gunfire or bravery, but of hesitation. He carried that truth with him for the rest of his life, not as a burden, but as proof that even in the darkest places, a single choice can echo across generations. And somewhere, far from the front line, 2 old men slept easier, knowing the same secret had shaped them both.